Hey everybody, Chef Vince here coming from Pritikin in Miami. Today we're going to show you how to make some mussels. We're going to saute that up and add some whole wheat pasta. It's going to be a creamy sauce, sun-dried tomatoes. We're going to add some sugar snap peas. We're going to show you how to go ahead and keep the calories down and the flavor up. Over here I have some about a pound of whole wheat pasta that I went ahead and pre-cooked, which we're not probably going to use all that, but that's about what I have in that bowl there. We like to use this brand here called Delalo. They have about like 10 different kinds of whole wheat pastas that you can't always find at a grocery store, but you can certainly buy them online. Orzo, the fusilli pasta, penne, whatever.
Whatever shape you like.
Angel hair.
Right.
So,
the most important thing that you want to look for when you're ordering your pasta is not the shape, but the word whole. What's really, really deceiving and makes sense because food industries just want to sell you food, but a lot of times they'll write the word wheat in front of pasta, in front of bread. But if it doesn't say the word whole, it actually is a very refined and processed wheat. So super important, look for the word whole, whatever brand you decide, you find the one that you like.
yeah. And if you're gluten-free, you can use other ones like Explore
Lentil.
Cuisine, that has a good bean-based
Explore.
pastas. And, there's other like rice flour gluten-free ones
You could do
as well.
brown rice, you could do edamame, you could do quinoa, you can do lentil, you could do black bean. I mean, they got them all, and they're all whole, and they're all great ideas. So let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay, we got some
Let me show you
onions.
what we got here. Yeah, I'll burn your eyes
Yum.
here, right? So you saw how what I did was I sprayed that pan, but really that cooking spray really didn't even need to go in there. It's not really doing anything for what I put into there. All we did was show you how hot the pan was. Start off with that hot pan. That's a high heat pan. And the onions, as long as you put the lid over it, will start releasing all their juices, right? All their moisture. So if you find that they're kind of a little drier, which these are actually are, they're not releasing that much moisture, you can add a little bit of water to them. And this will help kind of just create a little bit of, actually, you know what? Instead of the water, let's just go ahead.
Ooh, I love it. You're going to do the wine. Go, chef. So we're not adding any oil to these onions. Do you guys realize that? What he's adding is a nice wet, and he's caramelizing these onions. So when you're caramelizing something, you're actually releasing some of the natural sugars from the food, but it's all natural. So, a lot of people like to add sugar to all of their meals. I'm sure when you were in culinary school, there was a lot of sugar added to everything, but you can naturally release the sugars by doing what Chef is doing here and caramelizing them, and you don't need any sweet. That's your sweet.
Yeah.
And it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell.
So at this point, we have a little bit of chicken broth that I put into there and some wine that we're going to let that totally reduce out so those actual onions can still get brown again. And then repeat this process one more time when the garlic goes into there.
But they're not sticking out to the pan because I
just
know
deglazing it with the liquid. That's all you need to do.
Right. So one of the things that I really learned from you, Chef, is like I don't like to use a lot of oil, but what would end up happening when I would cook is a lot of the stuff would get stuck to the pan. So this whole, using the broth and the wine or anything other than oil is the magic in making it healthy and still tasting delicious. Ooh,
Absolutely.
We're adding some beautiful color right here. So sun-dried tomatoes loaded with something called lycopene. Lycopene is an antioxidant. It's also very aesthetically beautiful. So when you have the pasta, you want to pop it. Why not pop it with something that has high antioxidant value and nice sweet taste? So
Yeah, exactly.
love those.
So what we're also going to add, in addition to these sun-dried tomatoes that I just went ahead and julienned, are a little bit of sugar snap peas. And if you want to leave them whole like this or just chop them up a little bit, you could do that too, but add them more towards the end, essentially kind of, a little bit, almost when we add the mussels. They won't take very long to
Right,
cook.
they cook like super fast and nice crunch appeal. People always ask me, oh my God, Kara, at night I need something crunchy. Any ideas? Sugar snap peas, crunchy, easy.
Like your style.
Just wash them, stick them in a little hummus, call it a day.
That was a little bit of minced garlic I put into there, and almost all that liquid's evaporated out of there.
So fast.
And I
No
do have
stick.
that pan as high as it can go at this stage,
So
right?
you have that all the way at high.
Chef, you want to practice your sauteing skills here? Come on.
Do you want the onions flying all over the place?
Don't put them on the strawberries. Here, when you go it,
Yeah.
you're going to push it forward and kind of fling it back a little bit, right? So like this, ready? Push, ready? Push forward.
Oh, but it flew out. I need to push a little harder.
Go on the strawberries.
That was you, that wasn't me. Okay. Ready? Let me get it a little back.
Oh,
All right, I
Now
need a
you're-
little more practice.
yeah. We'll practice this on our own. Now,
Okay,
if you want to,
practice
if
this at
you
home,
want, if
guys.
you want to do this with a cold pan and just practice with some like raw beans or even like black peppercorns, that's a way you kind of practice this technique and not be sitting there like burning your food or like.
Can we
you know.
just use a spoon and mix it around?
Yes. That's what we're doing.
Just so in case you don't have the technique right, but I'm gonna practice. I promise.
I'm going to add my sun-dried tomatoes to start letting them, bring some flavor and get some kind of a little bit more hydration back into them. And that brand that we're using there is from a brand called Del Destino. If you want to look for that, that's one that's not packed in any oil.
No oil.
And it's very low in sodium. So
Beautiful. And that's really what you want to look for if you are purchasing sun-dried tomatoes. They often add sugar, salt, fat, some sort of trifecta in there. So you just want sun-dried tomatoes, period, the end.
yeah, and look, you can just throw any other vegetables in here as well. Besides using the onions as the aromatic, you could also add, in addition to that, maybe add some fennel or add some ginger. Change these leeks.
Love the leeks.
Aromatic vegetables would include onions, leeks, shallots, garlic, ginger. All these things add flavor to your food. Adding vegetables is one thing, but adding flavorful vegetables, which are basically the ones I just kind of rattled off, or at least some of them, add a lot more flavor.
Right. So when we add the flavor, guess what? We don't need the salt.
That's
Right.
the plan.
So the point is that your food doesn't have to be plain if you're not adding salt to it. All you got to do is learn a little bit about, aromatics. And I say to people all the time, if you can use the whole herb or the whole, like the onion instead of onion powder, that's probably your most flavor. But if you're in a pinch, no worries. Use onion powder, use garlic powder. That's going to work too. So, it doesn't mean that you always have to do it, exactly the way that chef's doing it, but it's still going to add flavor either way.
Yeah, I mean, taking this time to caramelize the aromatics here, getting that onion and garlic kind of sticking to the pan a little bit, you're getting that kind of that layer of that caramelization, that golden brown that we're going to now
The sweet.
deglaze all that, right? We're going to add these mussels. These are those mussels that we already had in the chuck. And people hear, oh, I heard oysters are aphrodisiacs. Look, I mean, there's no proof to any of that, honestly. So
No, there really isn't.
So if you want to have some shellfish, I think this is a good dish to have. It's a nice hearty little meal here to have, but still kind of keeping it light at the same time. You can add more things into this besides using the
You can
sugar
add more
snap peas.
vegetables if you wanted. But one thing I would say about the mussels
Sugar snap
also,
peas. It's coming. It's coming.
it's
Kara.
coming. Okay,
She's like,
okay.
where's the vegetables, chef?
I know. I'm always about the vegetables. But just wanted to say regarding the mussels, in keeping in tune with the whole heart month situation, mussels are actually a very good source of omega-3 fatty acids. So helps with LDL or cholesterol lowering. It's a very, very lean protein. Does it have cholesterol? The answer is yes. Is it loaded? No. So you know what? I'm not saying that you should have mussels all the time, but when you're choosing a protein, it's an excellent protein. Really easy to cook, pretty fast, very lean, omega-3 fatty acid. And if you think it's an aphrodisiac, maybe you'll just bring it into existence. How about that?
That's how I like to look at it.
I like to look at it like that too. Here at the Pritikin Center, it's like rainbows and unicorns. All you gotta do is show up and everything is planned and prepared for you. But when you get home, get ready for those lions and tigers and bears. Whether you're racing out the door to work and skipping breakfast, or glued to the Zoom call and no time for lunch, or maybe you're in retirement and every day is a holiday. The solution? You need a plan. My name is Kara. I've been a registered dietitian for over 20 years, and I've helped thousands of clients create sustainable plans that stick. At the Pritikin Center, we offer a one-to-one remote nutrition coaching program with me. Together, we will create a customized plan that addresses your lifestyle, your health markers, and any of those derailers that lead you astray. Support and accountability can be the difference between finding success and constantly chasing after it. Sign up today for more information about Pritikin at Home Concierge Nutrition Program. Are we good for next week? Are you same time, 2 o'clock next Wednesday? That works?
So we're gonna toss these up here just to get them all the 2 seasons I just put into there were some salt-free lemon pepper and a little bit of a ground up Mrs. Dash. So we'll put the sugar snap peas in a second. That's gonna be done in a moment, but what I need to do is add a little bit of the cream part to it. Before I get to that, let me just show you 2 things I brought to me. We're not gonna use these today, but I think
We're just gonna talk about them.
They're nice vegetables to use If you want to kind of add some, sort of flair to your Valentine's Day dinner. This is obviously something we use quite often here. I always talk about this one here. This is called a candy cane beet. So when you cut into it, you kind of get that really vibrant.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
it looks cool, right? You can slice this on a salad, then put it as a crudité, whatever you want with a dip. This one here is called a purple Okinawa potato. This one has a little bit of a blemish there, but the rest of it would still be usable. But this is a little bit more of a difficult potato to find. But it has a great color on the inside. If you never used this before, it simply gets darker and more contrast as it cooks.
And speaking of, the deeper, darker the color the vegetable or the fruit has, the higher antioxidant value it will have. So these have great color. So things like the strawberries, the berries, the eggplants, sweet potatoes, any of those deep, dark colored foods, great for the heart. So add them in.
So the thing with mussels is they don't take long to cook, and when you see that shell pop open...
Oh, so that's when you know it's ready, is when it pops open?
Correct. And you don't want to overcook them because if you get them too much heat, they really get rubbery and tough.
Yeah, the consistency.
The sauce is still going to cook down a little bit more just to concentrate the flavor. Carol's going to be so kind to start pulling some of these mussels that have popped open out of there, and we'll just throw them into that bowl.
You got it.
And we'll finish that sauce by adding the cream part. And we will also add the sugar snap peas right at the very end. You can also saute them separately.
You know what else I like about things like mussels or anything that has shells in it is that it takes a little work to get it out. So it's actually going to make you eat a smidge slower. Did you want this off the burner a little bit like that?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Well, you can keep it on there. It's just still reducing down.
So one of the things I always talk about here at the Pritikin Center is we have this class coming up right after this. It's a mindfulness luncheon. And one of the things that helps us be really mindful is, extending the amount of time it takes us to eat our meal, because it actually takes about 20 minutes for our brain and our bellies to communicate with each other to let us know that we're satisfied. So anytime you can eat something that slows you down, like something in a shell, it's a good idea. It's being a lot more mindful. So thank you, mussels, for having shells. And like even nuts, I know we don't promote a lot of nuts because they're quite calorically dense, but there's a big difference between eating pistachios in a shell versus shelled. You're going to eat them so much faster.
A lot longer.
Something to think about.
So real quick, folks, if you saw what I was doing here, this does not need to happen unless you're using cream cheese in this recipe, because if I just put cream cheese in here, it doesn't really melt apart. If you want to just put still a bit of Parmesan and sour cream, fat-free sour cream, which is what I also have in here, you can put that right into the pan. If you put the cream cheese also, it's not really going to melt apart. What I want to do is I put it in the blender. Everything's in the blender. I have the sour cream that's fat-free, the low-fat cream cheese, a little bit of Parmesan, and I also put chicken broth just to blend it all up, which we also were putting into that sauce already. So that's done.
Chef, this is like double duty here because I think I'm getting a facial.
We'll let you. Well, we put too many mussels in here anyway. It's okay. I got carried away. So
that's okay. You got all excited. It's all good.
We'll finish this up. We'll add this, the sugar snap peas here.
And those you just add right at the very end because they don't really need much cooking.
The cream part is going in here now. You can see that it's probably not going to use everything I put in that blender for that ratio that I have there, but that's kind of, it adds that little bit more, obviously creaminess, more richness to it at the very end.
Don't ask me to do that one. That's going to fall all over the place.
But
very cool. You're getting a very creamy texture with no fat. It's possible. It's possible.
Most places, I used to work at a place we would just pour heavy cream into the pan, right? I mean, talk about high in fat, right? So that's what most restaurants are usually going to do.
So we got a good workaround.
We did put a little Parmesan and cream cheese, but it's still very healthy. This is something you can add right usually at the very end. Let it come back up to the heat. And we'll go ahead and we'll take the rest of those mussels out. We have a little bit of fresh chopped herbs we'll add in here at the very end as well, which is a little bit of parsley and chives. We'll toss it with our sauce, and we'll be just
amazing. And this is a very, very well-balanced meal, by the way. So when you're thinking about when you're creating your meals, think of a template. I want some sort of protein, whether it's animal or plant-based. We chose mussels, very lean, high in antioxidant value, good omega-3s. We also have a 100% whole wheat pasta, which is your carbohydrate piece. And then we have lots of herbs and spices that are going to add more not only more flavor, but more health benefits. These also we have chives, we have basil, we have cilantro, all really good flavor adders and good antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. So everything that you see here is contributing to your health, and I cannot wait to taste it, because not only is it going to be good for you, but it's going to be absolutely delicious, and you're going to be so impressed that after dinner it's going to be a good night. How about that?
that's
the whole goal, right?
So
romantic dinner. Okay, so
we'll get this in here. We'll try to get about maybe eight mussels, maybe 10 mussels usually. This might be a little bit more pasta than I would usually serve, but you can always balance that out. And this is something that, will take a little bit longer to come together. I'll just put it one small plate of it real quickly here.
Really colorful, looks very creamy.
Even more colorful.
Even more
chives
colorful.
In there. And here's our mussels. They're creamy sauce. If you want to use other aromatics in here, build it up with other vegetables.
Yeah, you could always add, any vegetable to it. Whatever you want, whatever you have in the kitchen. You don't have to go special to buy extra. Just use what you have.
Get some of those that kind of pop out like that here.
Yeah, that looks like they're going to slide right out of that shell.
So here you have, a pretty large amount that we made here.
Maybe it's a double date.
You're serving this here. Yeah, there you go. So, of course, you can have about 4 to 5 ounces of the animal protein. So if you want to go a little bit heavier in the mussels, of course, if you want to use chicken here as well, it's all going to work good. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's, Chef.
Folks, if you like this video and you want to see another cooking demonstration, click here. If you want to listen to our podcast, click here.